Say hi.
Hello, America. I'm here to talk to you about the crippling attacks that have been launched against our nation by packs of rabid dogs.
Again with the dogs? Go ahead.
Sometimes the city of Minneapolis has now fallen to the hound horde. Our thoughts and prayers are with those brave Minneapolitans.
Neapolitans?
Neapolitans, yes, from Naples.
Carry on. Keep
Am
going.
I still talking? Okay.
Yep, he's still talking.
That is my curse.
All right. We're flying by the seat of our pants this week, folks. Had some stuff going on in the store. We have a giant stack of new number ones to talk about this week. We're a day late and $1 short. And but we wanted to get on here and talk about comics. Jess, hey,
Jess.
Thanks for watching. You finally made one of these. See, our random timing worked out for you. So, awesome. All kinds of new stuff to talk about this week. I don't know if I have a pick of the week. There's just all kinds of great stuff. I think I'm gonna go with Spider-Man. Spider-Man #1, Amazing Spider-Man #1. Or if you're following the legacy numbering, 802. This is the new creative team of Nick Spencer writing and Ryan Ottley on the artwork. Nick Spencer tells funny stories like Superior Foes of Spider-Man and drama action stories like Secret Empire. So he should be very capable of writing amazing Spider-Man stories. Ryan Ottley is the artist on Invincible, Robert Kirkman's superhero title, which has recently come to an end, and Ryan Ottley is now available. He's literally, I think he did every issue of Invincible.
Wow.
So
that's a lot.
He did Grizzly Bear Shark Guy or whatever. There was some sort of...
Oh, Shirtless Bear Fighter?
No, not that. It was something else.
Okay.
I'm drawing a blank. Someone will help me. Help me, someone. Amazing Spider-Man picks up from the end of Slott's run. Peter is still the science editor at the Daily Bugle, except now he is living with a couple roommates. One is Joe Robertson's kid, Robbie Robertson, and they have a third roommate who is actually Boomerang, the bad guy Boomerang. Pete knows this, but no one else knows that he knows this, and it makes for a very awkward video gaming session at 4 a.m. But there is so much crammed into this issue. It is phenomenal. Very similar to Amazing Spider-Man 800 that had a whole bunch of content that was just an amazing story from start to end. This one is also incredible. If you're just getting into Spider-Man, it's a #1. Pick it up, get into it. If you were reading Spider-Man before, why would you stop reading? Just continue reading it with the new creative team. And I'm very curious to see where they go. I will give you a heads up, though, that the comics are now taking a page from, or a cue from, the Marvel Studios movies and including after credits scenes. So you get to the end of the story, and then there is the credits of who worked on the book, and then
I may not have read that.
Then there's a letter from editor Nick Lowe, and then there's a whole after credit sequence.
Okay, I did read that. Cool.
Which offers more insight into what happened in the main body of the story, and it is essential reading. Especially, I will tip my hat a little bit if you enjoyed Kevin Smith's Daredevil, Guardian Devil storyline. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a whole hunk of awesome Spider-Man. You should get it.
Yeah, I love the crap of it, and I was a big fan of Superior Foes. I think this obviously it has Boomerang, who is the lead in Superior Foes, and has a lot of the same spirit. Really good. Hi Robert, hi John, hi Roberto, hi John, hi Tyler. How many Raven comics will there be? How many stars in the night sky? There will be 12 in the current series. It's a mini series. It will be 12 issues, but there will be another one after that if people keep buying them. So there could be many books.
And you know what? I'll just throw my hat in the ring. I don't even know what I'm saying this week, people. I'm sorry. I'm struggling. I usually have lunch by now. Maybe that's what it is.
His blood sugar's low. Here, eat this. I'll talk.
Low blood sugar. Raven is also in this week's issue of Titans. There is a new creative team. Jeez.
Well, they're teens. Some of them.
They are creative teens. Holy moly. Dan Abnett is writing, Brandon Peterson is drawing, and it is a team led by Dick Grayson, a.k.a. Nightwing, made up of Steel, which is Steel's niece, Beast Boy, Donna Troy, Raven, and Miss Martian, and it was awesome. Another great jumping on point if you've been thinking about picking up the Titans. If this is your Titans team, you totally need to check it out. Great variant cover by Stepan Sejic, that guy.
That's how we say it.
Yeah, but Raven is there too, John, so you should check it out. See? 2 birds, 1 stone.
Hi, Tolga. Next up for me, we've got, for everyone, we've got, my pick of the week was probably Amazing Spider-Man, but my favorite of the ones that Mark didn't pick was probably X-23 #1. Now everyone knows that I loved All New Wolverine with all my heart, written by national treasure of Australia, Tom Taylor.
Nicolas Cage.
Yes,
no.
Nicolas. So I was a little bit nervous, but this is written by Mariko Tamaki, who did the Supergirl Being Super miniseries last year I really liked.
Which is great.
Which is really great. And then we've got art by Juan Cabal, or possibly Juan Cabal. So this picks up kind of, you don't have to have read the previous series really at all, beyond the fact that you need to know who Gabby is. Laura has a tiny clone who goes by with this codename Honey Badger, and they have a pet Wolverine named Jonathan. Neither of those are significant plot points. But I really like what Tamaki did here. We've got almost like 2 different sides of the clone wars, we'll say. You've got the Stepford Cuckoos, who are from the Grant Morrison era X-Men, so they have a little bit of more weird stuff going on. I actually didn't realize they were clones until they pointed it out.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
And that may have been a retcon or not. My expertise on the Cuckoos is limited. But seeing them versus seeing Gabby and Laura, the two contrasted, and the way the relationship they have with their origins, and the effect of all of the bad things people try to do with mutant blood, and what it's like to walk around being essentially a weapon of mass destruction. You know, if Laura's Wolverine-y blood gets out there, that people could do very bad things with it. So that's what's happening. Laura is hunting down people who try to use the findings of the Weapon X programs that created Logan and the other program from Malcolm X that created her, and trying to shut them down, prevent them from doing bad things with their DNA. It's really great. It is not at all what I expected. It has a lot of the humor and heart of the Taylor run, but definitely with a more plot-driven angle than his book did. So I was very, very happy with X-23 #1.
I enjoyed it as well. And I kick myself almost weekly, just for fun. I kick myself almost weekly that I have not read much of Tom Taylor's All New Wolverine, and one of these days I will go back and do that.
Hi Tolga, hi Paul. John is a pet.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what it means either, but...
Congratulations, John.
Good on you, buddy.
You've done it. You're a pet. You've done it! Oh, all right. Next for me, Superman #1, Brian Michael Bendis, Ivan Reis, and this is Bendis' continuation out of the Man of Steel miniseries. Don't worry though, if you haven't read the Man of Steel, there is a great recap on the very first page. So I would also encourage you to read the Man of Steel. While it's not spectacular, I think it does lay the groundwork for where we are with Superman #1. I will start out by saying that I enjoyed Superman #1 more than I enjoyed any issue of the Man of Steel. So this seems kind of trivial, but DC has updated their paper stock with this week's new books, and it's really nice. The colors pop.
I didn't realize it was all the books.
I think it is.
I must not have noticed. See, no,
it's not Teen Titans. Okay, so...
Or Titans.
Yeah. I think Flash has it, and Superman has it. I don't know what other books have it, but it's a noticeable difference, and relatively same price. $3.99 is what you're paying for Superman, but again, it's kind of an oversized first issue. So John and Lois are out in space exploring the universe with Jor-El, and Clark has lost all communication with them because his previous Fortress of Solitude has been destroyed by the bad guy from Man of Steel, whose name I never remember. Zarth Rogol.
Rogol, maybe? I don't know. Yeah.
Pick a name that we can remember, Bendis, like Darkseid or something. A one-word name would be preferable to whoever that guy is. Rogolzar. Zargarol. Should we order some Zargar rolls?
We should get some Zargar rolls.
Yeah, and some shawarma and some Zargar rolls.
Rogolzar, according to Paul.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you. Rogolzar.
Also, John was referencing Jonathan the Wolverine for the pet.
Oh, so, there we go.
See, he's on target.
Yes.
We just get distracted.
Stay on target. This is a very solid first issue. Great for new Superman readers, existing fans. I know a lot of people have trouble kind of getting into Superman comics because he's essentially invulnerable. But I think since he's had since we've got a son involved in the situation with the return of Jor-El, there are lots of interesting stories to be told. We do get appearances by several members of the Justice League in here, and just enjoyed the heck out of it. So Superman #1 gets thumbs up from me. You should give it a shot.
It is Rogol Zar, 2 A's in the name, so it might be Zar, but yes, you're correct.
Zar.
Yep.
That's what it is.
And the art was amazing. Like, I don't usually care about art, but like his layouts were really good.
Ivan Reis is one to follow. Oh, and there is a reveal at the end, so don't flip to the last page.
We're just going in order.
You pick whatever you want.
I can talk about anything. Next up, we've got Outpost Zero by Sean Kelly McKeever from Columbus, Cincinnati?
Columbus, Ohio.
There you go.
Ohio's own Sean McKeever.
And co-creator and artist Alexander Tefenki.
Might be from Columbus. I don't know.
So this is, let's say, the far future. It's sort of a sci-fi epic. We've basically, something went real wrong and we shot people out into space all over the place like plant spores, I guess. And we're particularly following one colony that crash landed on a ball of ice like Planet Hoth. You guys have seen Star Wars, right? And this is generations later. Their habitat is maybe breaking down. Things are going badly. But we see it entirely from the perspective of kids. They're probably like 15, 18, somewhere in that range, high school age kids. So my initial response was, it's a lot like Joyride, because it's about the kids, wanting to go out and explore, like, oh, what's out there in space? We haven't been out there in a long time. What's outside the ice thing? What can we discover out there to save? So it had a great sense of exploration and fun, and then it kind of hooked and becomes like a towering inferno disaster. Everything goes poorly. And I was really impressed with that. I've read some of McKeever's other stuff. He did Spider-Man Loves Mary Jane. That's McKeever? So. I'm pretty sure.
Did the Sentry, not the blonde hair Sentry, but the robot Sentry, or Sentinel. Sorry.
Oh, the Sentinel. Did, with the
kids, like the
there's abbreviations.
Iron Giant.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea what we're talking about? We know what we're talking about.
Yes, there was a kid. There was a Marvel young person's title. I don't know if they call it Marvel All Ages or whatever. But then he got sucked into the Avengers Academy, or an Avengers, the one where they all got killed on like.
Oh yeah, it was like the Hunger Games.
Yes, yeah. Avengers Arena.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like that Sentinel kid. Anyway, I was very impressed with this. Very, very good sci-fi. It did a great job of creating a realistic world. It seemed like a lot of comic.
Seems oversized.
Yeah, I don't know if it actually is, but it seemed like there was a lot there. A lot of story happened in the first issue. And yeah, so it's about growing up, it's about space, it's about exploration, it's about whether you should accept the boundaries of your life or try and push further beyond, even if it means bad change. So yeah, check it out if you like sci-fi stuff.
Yeah, lots of good indie stuff this week. So really, what have you read of what's remaining?
I've read everything there. Okay. I'm not sure I understood everything there, but I can talk about any of them.
Okay. I guess I'll go with this one.
Okay.
And that would be Die, Die, Die by Robert Kirkman, Scott Gimple, and Chris Burnham. So, who is Robert Kirkman, you say? He's the creator of The Walking Dead and Invincible. Who is Scott Gimple? He is the showrunner, or former showrunner, on The Walking Dead. And Chris Burnham is a great artist who draws a lot like Frank Quitely. So, that is what you need to know. This book appeared out of nowhere. This was getting all the media attention yesterday.
The comic media attention.
Well, no, it was in Variety and The Hollywood Reporter and some other places like that. Robert Kirkman runs in bigger circles now than just comic people. So this book appeared out of nowhere. It was listed on our invoice as like a retailer thank you or something. And then we find out when we got our shipment on Tuesday afternoon that it was a new book by Robert Kirkman. And it is very much in the vein of a Garth Ennis story. Lots of violence, lots of blood, lots of covert organizations that are trying to do good while doing bad to people. And also on top of it being a complete surprise to all of us, it also has 10 variant covers. So the covers all look the same, but the word balloons, you may or may not have word balloons, and the content in the word balloons is different in 10 of the different covers. So I read it because it's Kirkman. The cover really does nothing for me, but it reads very well, and the action is great. The artwork is solid. I enjoyed this issue, and I will read the next issue. So this is an ongoing series as far as we know. There is a release date printed in the back of this issue, so it's not just going to show up unannounced like the first issue.
Right, yeah, there's already an FOC date for 2, I think.
And you know what? I applaud Kirkman. He has a letter in the back of the issue talking about how everything is spoiled ahead of time now, whether it's
Not
TV,
bad.
comics, movies. And it's funny, this had to be in the works long before Batman 50 got spoiled last week or a week and a half ago. And to see this now is kind of ironic. So it's really good if you like violent action movies sorts of things.
Yeah, Tarantino,
or The
that
Boys,
kind of stuff.
or Punisher, anything that Ennis has done.
Absolutely.
Really good.
Yeah. Awesome. You said you and Kevin like that, right?
Yep.
So
You can do either one of those.
I'll do this one. So next up, from Berger Books imprint over at Dark Horse, Karen Berger, of course, longtime editor at Vertigo, part of the trust behind Sandman and some of their greatest works in the 80s, 90s, and
She brought the Brits over.
she did. British Invasion. She Could Fly, written by Christopher Cantwell, co-creator of *Halt and Catch Fire*. I don't know what that is. And Martin Morazzo, who did *Ice Cream Man*, which is a big hit over for Image.
Yeah.
And this is a really devastating look at, I don't know if mental illness is the right term, but
It's the term I would use.
yeah, I mean, it's the one that I have possessed the words to use. But yeah, it's about a girl who's, part of it's talking with her therapist and part of it's seeing her day-to-day life, and we see a lot of it from her point of view, and she sees stuff that may or may not really be there, and it's really haunting and heartbreaking to I think it's a really good representation. I don't have a lot of first-hand experience, but it definitely made me feel for people, and it definitely gave you an idea about how comics, we never know what's on the page until we get to the next page. Was it a dream? Was it a sequence? Is it alternate reality? So it's really a perfect medium for something like this, where the main character doesn't necessarily know what's happening to her, and she's having these episodes or visions or whatever, and I'm having them with her because I don't know what's real, because I don't know the rules of this universe. Maybe there are real weird crap happening, maybe there's not, maybe it's a everyday life and she's just seeing it. So it's a really poignant depiction of mental illness, and plus it's wrapped up in a very interesting, espionage isn't quite the right word, but there's machinations going on and wheels within wheels, and a lot of different stuff on an interpersonal level, and yeah, just really, really good. Totally surprised. We've got a quote on the cover by G. Willow Wilson, creator of Miss Marvel and Air, and what was the indie book? Not Air, the other one. Doesn't matter. It was the name of a country.
Yes.
Anyway.
Kazakhstan. No,
full of unexpected pleasures, masterful, joyful, poignant, a must-read.
And we should say that the title refers to another character in the book that it appears to exist, and it's a flying girl that appears over Chicago, and the main character of the book, the teenage girl, is kind of fascinated with this character, but yes, that's where She Could Fly came from, and this other hand that's reaching out. So there is actually a person, at least as far as we can tell. So here's the deal. We got an advance copy of this several weeks ago, and Josh and I both read it, and Josh and I both liked it, but it's hard to pin down. It's hard to talk about it, and hard to really describe what you liked about it. So just go with this. We both recommend it. It's not the most uplifting tale you'll find on the stands this week, but it's a really good story.
And this is one of 4, so it's a mini-series,
Yeah.
so you're not in for too much if that concerns you.
All right, another number 1 this week. This is from Boom Studios. It's from their Kaboom imprint, which is their all-ages imprint. This is also a miniseries. It is Ruin World, which I believe is the printed... this is printing of a webcomic, or it could be new content based on a webcomic or something like that. But I really don't care because I just checked it out because it looked fun. It's about a fox and a pig that are off on an adventure, kind of a D&D style fantasy world, and it's got humor, it's got action, it's got plenty of cool stuff if you're an RPG fan, and I am not, and I still enjoyed it. Also gave it to my 9-year-old son to read, and he enjoyed it. In fact, I came home from work. I gave it to him Tuesday night to read, and I came home from work yesterday, and I was in the door for like 5 minutes, and he asked me for issue 2. He's like, "Did you bring home the next issue of Ruin World?" No, you have to wait 30 days to get it. I'm sorry.
You can't binge it. That's
Yes. So then I had to have that discussion that all parents have with their sons. Oh no, that. But Ruin World is a great. It's colorful. It's funny. It's got heart. Just really good stuff. And so if you're into, Pathfinder, D&D,
even Lord of the Rings, or
even like Rafael Rosado's books, Giants Beware and Dragons Beware and that sort of thing, I would totally throw Ruin World into that bucket. It's really good.
And last up in the parade of number ones, another one from a named creator, relatively speaking, I guess. We've got Farmhand, number 1 from Image. This is written, created, drawn, catered, and costumed by Rob Guillory, who you may remember as the penciler on Chew, which is one of the just best weird indie books ever. And this is definitely in a similar vein. We've got a traditional story of, a guy grows up with a maybe not great relationship with his father. They're a little bit estranged. It's time to bring his family back to the family farm. Except there's weird Cthulhu-y horror stuff. The farm grows like zombie arms, and it's just crazy.
It's as out there as Chew.
It's honestly, it might be more, I don't know, Chew's world is out there, but the story, but yeah, it's weird.
Weird but good. And weird in a way that you can process it and understand it. There are some books I read, I'm like, man, that's weird. I have no idea what happened. I have no idea what's going on.
No, not in this one. It's just an interesting kind of... It's like you take basic ideas that we see in horror or in kind of mythos-y tales, and then you follow them to their logical conclusion, which is absurd. So it's horror and humor, and I really dug it. Definitely for fans of Chew or Nailbiter, stuff like that.
Yeah. Gilroy does a great job writing. His artwork is very distinct. He's got a distinct style, which I like.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at something that he's drawn, that he drew it, which is nice. So yeah, it was good stuff. Farmhand number 1 out from Image. All kinds of new first issues this week. We didn't talk about any. We talked briefly about Titans. Yes. But the rest of the content today was about new number 1. So I have a favor to ask. If you enjoyed watching, give us some love. Hit some hearts. I want to see some hearts out there, people. Give us some hearts for doing our Alter Ego Comics TV live here on Thursday. Again, we apologize. We're a day late and several dollars short. So go out to your local comic shop and pick up some new comics. Choose from some of these new releases. All kinds of number 1s that you can pick up and get into. They're just really good.
Yeah.
So we will hopefully be back Wednesday. Actually, I will not be here Wednesday because I'll be at Comic-Con next week.
Oh, is that next week already?
That is next week, yes. So someone will maybe do an episode, I hope. Josh and surprise guest, or just Josh.
Just Josh.
Josh is going to have his own show called Just Josh. Just Josh. I think you should do that. So until then, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, like, comment, share, give us a heart. Give us your heart. Don't send it in the mail, though. That would be weird. And we'll see you again real soon. I'm stuck in the tablecloth.